Today on the channel, it's the 2023 wave of the Mattel Elite Royal Rumble figures, and we're going to rank this wave from my least favorite to my favorite, and we're going to build Dok Hendrix.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another WWE Mattel Elite Rankings and Build-A-Figure review. And today we're putting together Dok Hendrix, oh boy, from the Royal Rumble WWE Mattel 2023 Elite Wave. And of course we got the rest of the crew here. And after the second half of this video, after we build Dok, we're going to rank this entire wave from my least favorite and to my favorite. So stay tuned for that. But first, we got to dig into Dok Hendrix. And what a time to be alive here at the end of 2022. Getting a Dok Hendrix Build-A-Figure. I didn't have that on my bingo card this year that we get Dok Hendrix. So more deep cuts like this, the better. You guys know I absolutely love the Build-A-Figure concept. I would love to see it used more outside of the 4 pay-per-view series. It's a perfect avenue to get a guy like Dok Hendrix, where I love Dok. A lot of us are watching this probably love Dok, but he would not sell on his own. If you had him as a regular Elite, just not going to move the needle, unfortunately. But getting him as a Build-A-Figure, you feel kind of like you got a free figure. I think that works, and I would love to see more of this. Give us Slick as a Build-A-Figure. Give us Mr. Fuji. Give us some deep-cut characters. Give us, you know, some of the jobbers, some of those kind of guys. You can really go crazy with some of these Build-A-Figures, and I would love to see that incorporated into the Mattel Elite line a little bit more in 2023. But without further ado, let's get down to it. Let's build this Dok Hendrix figure, and I guess we're going to start with the legs. A lot of this is Build-A-Figure 101, as we've seen a lot of these pieces before, but we do get this crazy coloring for Dok Hendrix here. We're going to put the waist together. As I always say, I always do really good if you put it in kind of sideways and you twist and turn to lock in. Sometimes they don't stay as well, but that seems to work pretty good. Everything locked in. Now the arms is the other one. Sometimes the arms do fall off. That can be a bit of a pain. Hopefully Dok stays in pretty good, and so far I'm not so lucky. He does not want to go in there. Nope, he does not want to go in at all. So we have seen that. If there is a knock on the Build-A-Figure, it's that some of these pieces just do not want to go in, and that arm does not want to go in at all. And I'm making sure I got the right arm here, as these are a little bit mixed up, so that might be part of the issue. It may be user error on Kyle's part right here, and I think that's exactly what it is, so I walked that back. But we do see some of these arms and legs and stuff stick in. Not the best, but I did have my arms mixed up there, so make sure you got the right arm in the right socket. It makes sense. Gonna get this other arm in, and what do you know? We're staying together. It seems that some of those bugs have been fixed. We're gonna pop on the old head, and we're off to the races with old Dok Hendrix. Oh, baby, here it is. And I'm gonna pop this hand off, and I'm going to put a gripping hand in here. Now, he does come with 2 gripping hands and 2 pointing fingers. I think you got to mix it up, have one of each, I think is the way to go. But very cool to get Dok Hendrix. Man, this is a wild, wild suit. But Dok Hendrix is a wild and crazy guy. He's purely sexy, some might say, or pure sexy. Of course, Dok Hendrix, Michael P.S. Hayes. I remember it being quite the shock when he came onto my TV screen when I was a little kid. I was probably, 10, 11 years old, whatever it was. And I immediately knew the voice because I knew Michael P.S. Hayes and the Freebirds, especially from WCW, NWA time frame. And it just seemed weird because it was such a different look from him. But if you guys do remember, he was on commentary a lot. So his voice, very, very well known to young kids at the time that were watching WCW and stuff. But there's a lot of kids on the old playground, we always talk about it here, that were just WWF kids. That's all they watched. So Dok Hendrix, he was just a new guy to them. He was nobody where I'm like, wait, that's Michael P.S. Hayes, the Freebirds, and crickets were heard throughout the playground. Nobody knew what the heck Kyle was talking about. But Dok Hendrix, a very, very welcome piece to this line here. I am excited for it. Now let's break this figure down a little bit. I will say, unfortunately for me, his Build-A-Figure head on here, he does have some paint issues going on. So I have paint issues on mine. That is a little bit frustrating. We have seen that before many times over the years, I guess, of Mattel figures. The paint isn't always perfect, but it is unfortunate to get some paint mistakes on the face. So I do see those there. I don't know. I might track down another Build-A-Figure head maybe one of these days. Maybe I can find that dirt cheap and I get to swap these out because it does bother me a little bit. I got to be honest. But we do have that. It does look like Dok Hendrix. He's got that toothy smile. He's got the mustache, the blonde hair slicked back. I mean, he definitely looks like Dok Hendrix. The wild, crazy suit. Absolutely love it. We do have a Seth Rollins figure coming out with a wild suit as well in the basic line. I think it's out already, actually. It'd be interesting to swap heads, and you can move back and forth between Seth Rollins and Dok Hendrix. This is a very, very cool suited body for sure. I do like this here. And then he does have the Royal Rumble microphone you can place in his hand. It feels a little bit big, that microphone, but it does get the job done. You know what you're doing when you have it. Of course, articulation on these Build-A-Figures. The arms go all the way around. You do get a bicep cut. You do get double jointed, pinless elbows, much like we saw in the WrestleMania Mean Gene if you checked out those reviews. You do get the hands removable side to side, of course, waist side to side. No ab crunch on these guys. The head back and forth. Head is removable. And then you do get big old Dok Hendrix splits going on here. You do get a thigh cut. You do get double jointed knees. They do have pins in the knees. And then you get the ankles back and forth. No boot cut on these, but I am fine with that. Like the Jazzwares ones give us the boot cut on the suited figures. I feel like that isn't needed at all. But man, oh man, this Dok Hendrix, it is cool. It is definitely a little bit of an Easter egg, a throwback to simpler times. Really, really like the idea of this, and I hope we see this continue with some more deeper cut announcers. Can we get Sean Mooney's of the world? Can we get some of that kind of stuff? I think that would be really cool. Heck, give me an announcer, Bruno Sammartino, Jesse Ventura, but I think Jesse would sell on his own. But there's so many ways they could go with some of these Build-A-Figures. I just hope for the future we get some really, really cool ones that we've all been wanting in our collection. But Dok Hendrix, I wouldn't say he's at the top of my list, but man, now that I have him, I'm really happy to have Dok Hendrix. And of course, got to compare him to Michael P.S. Hayes. Of course, he was a collector's edition, I believe a Walmart exclusive a year ago or so. So you got the little yin and yang of Michael P.S. Hayes. His career right here on the table. So very interesting times. Very, very cool at the end of the day. So there's Michael P.S. Hayes. There's Dok Hendrix, the Build-A-Figure in the Rumble set. Now it's time to put Dok with his cohorts. And we're going to rank the entire Royal Rumble set from my least favorite to my favorite. All right, let's get down to it. Let's rank the WWE 2023 Mattel Elite Royal Rumble set from my least favorite to my favorite. As I always say, make sure you get your list together. Make sure you put it in the comments down below. Make sure you put it in order. That is the fun part. That's exactly what we're going to do right here. And of course, a little final thoughts on this set. Of course, the Royal Rumble set, predominantly over the last few years, has been a Target exclusive. Sounds like this year this set's open to anybody. We know last year's Target exclusive was extremely rare, extremely hard to find. I am expecting any time now, I'm sure there's going to be a sighting. Hey, we found the Royal Rumble set at Big Lots. We found them at TJ Maxx, whatever it may be. I got to think those Royal Rumble figures are somewhere. I think we will see them. But going forward, it sounds like these guys will be available to anywhere for those of you guys keeping track at home. We got 5 guys and 1 gal in this line here, so we're going to rank them, and we're going to start in at number 5. Where do we start? Well, I think you guys probably know. We're going to start at Brie Bella. Nothing against Brie Bella. I got no problems. Don't want the Bella Army coming after me. Hold on, Bella Army. But it is basically a repaint, and we've seen some of that here, so I'm not going to totally lose all of its points for being a repaint. But Brie Bella, a character that doesn't really resonate a whole lot with me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It is an interesting figure. It is a lot of rehash from the old one. A couple of upgraded bells and whistles, of course, but not enough for me, personally, to get it up over the hump. But it's still a good-looking figure. I think most people do know this is Brie Bella or Nikki Bella. You're going to say one or the other, I'm sure, with this one. But it is a good-looking figure. It's just feels a little out of place, like I said in the review. It just feels like she hasn't been on TV for a long time. I gotta admit that a lot of people I think have moved past. There's a lot of new people collecting. There's also a lot of new fans of the product that maybe time has moved on and they don't know Nikki and Brie Bella anymore. Could that be a possibility? I think they're more known now for being on E! And the red carpets and things like that than they are in wrestling, because generations move, time rolls on, and I think it's passed her by a little bit. However, you never know. She might come back. Maybe this is a little Easter egg to the future. I wouldn't be shocked to see them in the Royal Rumble again. I think they're going to come back like every year for the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't be shocked at that. But I just do also think she is going to be the peg warmer of this bunch. But that's just me. So she's coming in at number 5. Who's going to be number 4? You know what? I'm going to go... Yeah, I'm going to go Damian Priest. I'm going to go Damian Priest. It's close. It's close. I'm going Damian Priest here. Not a lot to say about this Damian Priest. Check out the review. Check out all these reviews on my channel. But a good one. I love the white coloring. Looks really good. The tattoos are on point. One of the best head sculpts Mattel have done in a lot of years with this one. Just once again, Damian Priest doesn't resonate with me as much as others. It's one that I'm not really looking forward to, but I got to admit it is a great figure. It is a good looking figure, and they've done a tremendous job. Like I said, Damian Priest is a guy that's not one of my favorites when he was punishing Martinez, and he went all the way to the top 10 last year in the action figure countdown list I had at the end of the year. So even if I'm not the biggest fan of the character and things like that, you got to call it out. And this is a tremendous figure. It just doesn't resonate quite as much as the other ones here. For me at least. So there it is. That's number 5. That's number 4 for Damian Priest. Now we're at the top 3. We're at the final 3. I'm going to go Build-A-Figure Dok Hendrix at number 3. I would never say I'm the biggest Dok Hendrix fan. I don't even know if he's in my top 10. He's definitely not in my top 10 announcers of all time. I'm not even sure if he's in my top 10 backstage interviewers of all time. But I call a spade that I love me some Michael PSAs and the Freebirds back in the day. And it is really cool to get something like this. Such a deep cut and such a nice surprise. Really does help this out. Quality issues on the paint on the face on this one for me, which is unfortunate. Hopefully yours are better than mine, so that does hurt it a little bit. I love the extra hands. I love the rumble microphone. A lot to like about this, but it's just not a wrestler. It's an announcer at the end of the day, as they are needed, but some of the wrestlers and some of their gear move them a little bit ahead of Dok Hendrix, at least in my list here. So now we're down to the final 2, and I would have never expected this, but we're going to go Rey Mysterio at number 2. We're going Vader at number 1. Now, let me explain myself here. I really, going into this, I thought Rey would be in last place. I thought he would be right behind Brie Bella for me because, let's be honest, I'm sick of Rey Mysterio figures. It just seems like we get the same thing over and over. We get 2 different varieties of Mysterio. They just change the paint color. It's rinse and repeat. This time, I felt like we got something a little different. We got a little different head sculpt, something we just don't see with him. We see the 2 standbys. This is totally different. Pinless joints, good coloring. Just a really, really good Rey Mysterio. Of course, a masked wrestler. I'm a little biased to that usually. But this just felt different and felt a heck of a lot more special. We've had 2 fabulous Rey Mysterio figures. If you go back to that Target Legends line, that's another fabulous one. So very cool. They're popping out some really good Rey Mysterios. Like I said, we've had so many cookie cutter ones for so long. It's finally to get Rey Mysterio feeling fresh again. Kudos Mattel for doing that for us. So this one beat my expectations, went all the way up to number 2, which leaves us at number 1. There was probably no doubt that Vader would bring Vader time to the number 1 spot on my countdown list. Now, I'm a sucker. I love a Vader figure. I love a masked figure. Not a ton of bells and whistles. I complained about Brie Bella here. Well, I should have those same complaints about Vader, but guess what? I'm a wrestling fan at the end of the day. What wrestler do I like more? I like Vader more than Brie Bella. Call me crazy, I don't know. But Vader looks fabulous with the pinless joints here. One of his more iconic singlets, even though his WCW time was the most iconic for me, there's no doubt this is an iconic looking one. And then the new head sculpt with the built-in mask, sculpted in mask, is such a difference maker here. I love the other ones, but man, I love this one a whole lot. Of course, the Vader hands, the interchangeability of that. Just a lot to like about Vader here. And of course, like I always say, I'm biased. I love me some Vader. So most of you guys probably knew going into this, he would be number 1 for me. So there it is. There is the 2023 Mattel Elite Royal Rumble set. What say you guys out there in YouTube land? What do you think of this set? You picking it up? Make sure you put your list in the comments down below. Put them in order. I know a lot of you guys are getting this set at the same time I am as well, so put your set down there. Let me know your thoughts on this entire wave. And of course, you made it this far, you might as well like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We got videos every single day. We're unboxing every Elite on top of everything else here on this very channel. Don't forget about the Patreon. We got all kinds of videos over there. We got Q&As, bonus videos, exclusive videos. You name it, a lot going on over there on the old Patreon channel. Love to have you a part of it, as it truly is the best way to support the channel. And you can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson, and don't forget to hit me up on social media. SirPaul64 is where you'll find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for the Rumble Wave, I'm Kyle. I'll see you guys all real soon.